conversation that's going to happen. So we're recording, and I am going to push this out to Facebook. So give me 1 second to do that. But for everybody that's joining us in the room right now, hi, welcome to Virtual Warwicks. And we are going to, in the comment section there, I'm going to put in how to order Sarah's book from us. And also there's a Q&A button at the bottom of your screen. If you scroll over that, Liz is going to take those questions and bring those in live if she can. Hold on, I cannot multitask. So I'm trying to type and do something on a different
I'm taking
screen.
screenshots of everybody. So now I can, while you're doing that, now I can break in and tell Sarah.
Okay.
I took some, so.
Okay.
Oh, yay.
Okay, here we go.
It's loose. This is a loose operation.
It's so loose.
That's the best way. It's like we're all like in this little bubble of a book club on the beach hanging out. You look at
Exactly.
balloons that are my beach balloons.
Yeah, Liz is actually there. She took the homework assignment very seriously.
Oh, very seriously. I love it. Okay.
So okay. I was making sure I had my screenshots. I do.
So I love this. We got somebody coming in from Minnesota, somebody from San Francisco.
Someone from San Francisco. Yeah.
Love it. So, okay. So Sarah, where are you calling in from?
North Carolina. So being on the West Coast is just awesome. And I actually, this is what you would not normally get in a regular program, you know, in person, but I just literally put my husband on a plane to the West Coast. Oh, so he is going there for a work trip. And he was like, wait, you're going to go do an event with West Coasters. And I'm like in a airplane. So, you know, in spirit, I'm with you guys. I would totally be right there on the beach on the West Coast. So thank you for having me. I love these women, all of them, booksellers and authors.
Love it. So we got Austin coming. So Liz and Lisa, Southern California girls. So you guys are here with us in Southern California. For those that are joining us from outside of Southern California, Warwicks is located in La Jolla, which is a little bit just north of downtown proper San Diego. So little sign there says 1896, been in business for 125 years. Love doing author events. We were just talking in the green room. We've started to do some live ones, but we still love doing the virtual ones because you get all you from all across the country are joining us. So we love that. So like I said, in the chat section, I'll put in how to order MUSTIQUE Island. Who's got a copy? There's copies behind Sarah there. I think Liz has a copy too. There we go. And then don't forget, in the queue, we always love audience Q&A. So go ahead and pop your questions in that button as well. So let me do the intros. Then I'm ditching out and letting these ladies talk.
Hold that up again, Liz, too, while she's talking. Yeah.
There you go.
Okay. Thank you.
Just don't, you're going to do my funny face. I always, my mouth is wide open in every screenshot. So I obviously am talking way too much.
Yeah. No, I think you're good, but I'll check it.
All right. So Sarah McCoy is the New York Times, USA Today, and international best-selling author of the novels. Is it, how do you say, Maria? Is it
Marilla? Yes.
Marilla. Okay, the L's are there. Of Green Gables, The Mapmaker's Children, The Baker's Daughter, and The Time It Snowed in Puerto Rico. She previously taught English and writing at Old Dominion University and at the University of Texas at El Paso. She currently lives with her husband, who's an orthopedic sports surgeon, who's heading to the West Coast right now. And their dog, is it Gilly or Jilly? Is it G?
Everyone asks, and you know what? I have friends who say it both. And one of my French friends, Jilly. And I just love the way it comes off like Jilly. Like it's like I purposely made him, because he's a Coton, which is a French little like fluff ball dog. So
love it.
But really, I named him Gilbert after Anne of Green Gables. So, and we call him Gilly.
Okay. And North Carolina. And somebody in the chat saying from Go UTEP. So yes, Go UTEP. And she's here today, as we said, to talk about her new book, MUSTIQUE Island. Joining her are Liz and Lisa, my favorites.
Yay!
Liz Fenton and
my
Lisa
favorites.
have been best friends for over 30 years. They are co-authors of 7 novels. Their latest, How to Save a Life, is a dark, heart-pounding love story with a Groundhog Day twist. Liz and Lisa host the popular podcast We Fight So You Don't Have to. Tune into that, especially if you're an author. They've got some great, I love the ones you guys just recently did. And our monthly on-air contributors on our San Diego, I'm going to say our local news with Liz and Lisa's book club. In their former lives, Liz worked in the pharmaceutical industry and Lisa was a talk show producer. They both reside with their families here in Southern California with several rescue dogs. Ladies, have a great conversation. We'll see you in a little bit.
Thank you.
Bye.
Oh,
It was
I'm
nice to
so
be
excited
back.
to be with you guys. This is like seeing my friends again. I love it.
Yeah, so
Oh,
good.
it's exciting to see you, even if it's virtual, and exciting to be back at Warwick's virtually. We haven't done an event with them in a while. So
I've never done one. This is my first time with them. So I'm I know.
Awesome.
No, and I already, as you know from the green room, I'm like, I love these people. I will, yes, these are my people. So I'm glad we got to do this together.
So let's get into it. I'm so excited. Congratulations on your release. So it's been a minute since I've seen you in person. I saw you at the Tea a couple of years ago.
We've done Christmas cards, crazy Christmas cards.
Yeah.
And so I feel like that is like a different level. That's like an inner circle level.
That's a special
of love.
place.
Yes.
You guys both do really good Christmas cards. I don't do them. I'm lazy. I don't do them anymore, but I both enjoy.
I've gotten Christmas cards from you.
I did, and then I gave it up.
He gave it up a few years, but I'm still going strong over here. So you'll get mine. You have to get, she does the Facebook thing, like here we are. Just a picture now.
I feel like I got one from you this past year, but then again, the pandemic has made everything just.
You probably just got two from me.
That's good.
I can't get my address list right. So anyway.
Oh my God.
Moving on.
Okay.
So we're here to talk about The Island, which is getting so much buzz. It's an Amazon Best Book of the Month pick for literature and fiction, a BookBub Best Book of Spring pick, a Town and Country Best Book of May pick, Veranda Magazine Best New Book of Summer pick. Laura Dave, who is one of our favorite people in the whole world, had this to say about it. Historical fiction lovers will luxuriate in a trip to Mystique Island, Sarah McCoy's latest novel about a 1970s enclave and a mother and her daughters who find their new beginnings there. McCoy's created a big-hearted, enchanting gem. So tell us in your own words what it's about.
Well, first off, so grateful to Laura because as you both know, knowing her, she has so much going on right now. She is just one of the most gracious to her fellow authors. She just gives so much time and energy to all of us. I mean, to so many authors. She reads their work, she champions them. So big love to Laura, and her book to film adaptation that's coming out is going to be phenomenal. So shout out. I could literally spend this entire hour though just talking about like other authors and talking about you guys, because I wanted to say that your podcast, okay, so you know, I'm gonna get back to the book, my book, but your podcast it's so inspirational for other authors. What Julie said at the beginning is so true. If you are an author, if you're a writer, or if you're someone who wants to understand sort of the mental, I don't want to say, but what we authors are dealing with, what we are living with inside of these brains every second, go and listen to these podcasts, because I honestly I feel so seen, even though I'm not seen, I'm heard, I guess, or I'm hearing you, but I feel like they are something, a real gift that you guys are giving us as a writer community. So thank you for that. Go listen to their podcast. And now I'm going to go back. I'm going to go back to the.
Thank you though, Sarah. It's funny what happens when you get to the bottom of the barrel. You just put on a pair of headphones and grab a mic and just say everything.
Oh my God.
Happened.
That is like my everyday about this time. I am like at the bottom of the barrel and I'm just going to let it all hang out now. I'm just going to say it all real. So even people out there right now on this virtual Zoom, you're going to get it all. So, Mystique Island. Okay. The question was,
what's it about?
What's it about?
What's it about? Jeopardy for 200. Let's start small here. Okay. What's it about? The book is the title. It's Mystique Island. It opens in 1972 because I'm obsessed with that sort of decade, the 70s into the 80s. I'm just obsessed with it completely. So 1972, and a ex beauty queen from Texas who has just recently divorced. she shows up on the shores. She has built her own boat and she's sailing around, and she comes to Mystique Island. And it's really her story and her daughter's story. She has 2 daughters, Hilly and Joanne. She's in her 40s. Yes, I'm in my 40s, so I very much relate to this wonderful woman who is reinventing herself and trying to discover a place to belong, trying to find who she is as a woman in this. At the time, the women's movement was coming to a head and becoming something really powerful in our world socioeconomic atmosphere. And so she comes onto this island, and this island, in case you don't know, you can Google it, but what you Google will probably be more scandalous and salacious than anything I could write in the book without it being rated X or some sort of like 50 Shades thing. But it is a real island, and it is an enclave for celebrity, elite, popular people of the world through, the past few decades. Just to give you an idea, at the time, so Mick Jagger is in the book and he's a resident, and Princess Margaret was given a piece of the island as a wedding gift by the owners because it is privately owned to this day and was back then. And that's a whole other kit and caboodle that we get into in the book. Is this was the late 60s, and that it was purchased by these British aristocracy, Colin and Anne Tennant. And that's rather modern to be, I mean, wouldn't you agree, to be purchasing an island that has people living on it, that then you're purchasing the people living on the island kind of too, and the industry that's on the island and everything. You're just buying it because you have money. I mean, that's crazy to me. So, but he did that. And then he started deciding on the qualifications of who he thought was beautiful enough and who had enough money and who was scandalous enough to be interesting to the guests that he wanted to come and visit, to then be offered a piece of his island to buy. And so, or he gave it away like he did to Princess Margaret as a wedding gift. So that's the island that my main character, Willie Mae, and her 2 daughters come on to. And I think we all sort of have this feeling of we want to belong. And I suffer from this too. I think we all do. We want to belong to the sparkle crowd, right? We want to belong to the popular crowd and the in crowd, and we want to be one of those. And yet, once we pledge ourselves to that sort of like trying to get into that crowd, what then are we willing to sacrifice? Because there's always an underside. There's always a darkness. There's always something lurking. That's just human nature. And so these women come onto this island, and that's the story. That's the book, is they discover both the glitz and the glamour and the dark side and what they have to sacrifice. So that's kind of,
did you do,
but
I love it. Well, did you know about the island and then you thought, I'm going to write a book because I know about this island? Or like, what was your inspiration for the book? How did you come up with the idea for the story?
So we are told as writers, and this could probably be a whole podcast, in school, at least I went to MFA school, and in school, which I think has its pros and its absolute cons, because you get all these rules that you think you have to obey. And yet the best books out there are written by people who know none of the rules and don't obey any of the rules. And they just like break the parameters. And that is actually huge in Mystique. It's kind of what I wanted to do for myself. But we're told, write what you know, right? That god awful. I don't believe it. That's a thing. I don't believe it. I think it works for some people and it can work for some things, but in general, when I write from a place of not knowing, but wanting to know more, it is far more interesting, because I am then writing my journey of discovery, and I'm bringing the readers along with me. And that is so much more interesting than having an author write what they know, and then it's almost like a narrative of the reader reading, being told, like being taught what this author knows.
Right.
So this book, I had just done Marilla of Green Gables, and I had people asking me, what are you going to write next? And I didn't have an answer. And like all my life, I've always had an answer for what's next. Even in school, I was one of those weirdly type A busybody, not busybody, but busy girls. Like my brain was always working 2 steps ahead, because I felt like, you don't want to, you'll miss a step if you weren't 2 steps ahead. Get that chessboard going. And so I didn't know. And that is terrifying, because everyone I know says they have journals and journals of ideas. And I was like, oh my
Who are these people? Who has journals and journals of ideas?
I hear this quite often. Oh yeah. And like, especially, I was like, I don't know. And I was terrified, and I felt like a fraud. Like, oh my God, they're all going to find out that I'm not a real writer, because I don't have journals and journals. And so when I get like that, like a little panicky and like self-flagellating, I tend to go down tunnels of that, of my own sort of like pleasure. Like this is pure pleasure, Sarah. You don't have, this shouldn't be work to you. So one of those is watching biofilms. I love documentaries. Like I'm weirdly nerdy like that. I love a documentary. I love a historical documentary. I'm obsessed. I will watch them back to back. I won't even tell you what my DVR looks like. My husband, it's just horrible. It's bad. So, and I also listen to celebrity memoirs.
Oh, I do.
Oh, so do we. Liz got me into that. Liz got me, and now I'm hooked.
Listening to Molly Shannon's right now.
Oh,
I want to listen. Now you can share it with me. We don't have to both buy it.
Yes. For 30 seconds. I am listening to Jennifer Gray's.
I'm gonna add that.
It is so good. She starts off with the prologue right about the nose story. What happened?
Of course, she needs to
brilliant.
do that.
She gets it right out of the way. Oh, it's so good. I listened to Matthew McConaughey's, so I'm like male, female, equal.
Yeah,
Rob Lowe's was really good.
Yeah, Rob Lowe's was really good. I just did back-to-back Gabrielle Unions. Those were both very good.
Brat was excellent. That one by Andrew.
McCarthy. Yeah, I listened to that, and also.
Someone's saying Jessica Simpson is good. I listened to that one too.
That
was really good.
I agree
with you, Holly.
Leah Remini's is good too. It'll make
you guys.
Scientology. Sorry.
For my people, I can't stop. And sometimes it's gotten bad now. Where when I will, I shouldn't be saying this, but when I do download like a normal fiction book, I get kind of sad because I'm missing meeting like a new celebrity. It's really awful.
I understand.
I know what you mean.
Oh my God, The Boys.
I just listened to that one too. I didn't even tell you, Liz, that one was really good too.
That is really
good.
And
I'm listening to Obama's right now.
Oh my gosh, did you listen to Becoming by Michelle?
I haven't. So that's going to be next because I'm on his first one. And it's really good. He's pretty candid. Yes. I thought he's careful, but like he's still candid. I'm pleasantly surprised, but it's like 30 hours. I looked at it because the book is like this thick. So it's we're going back and forth between that and some other things right now.
So I'm okay. Yeah. I don't even know how we got off on this, but I am obsessed with these.
Well, your book has a real celebrity. Like, I think that's where you were going. I feel like that's the tie-in. Okay.
So I was watching this. You got me. Thank you for putting me back on track.
Following what you're putting down.
So I was watching a documentary on Princess Margaret because I was obsessing over her. And in that, it showed this little snippet that said that she was given a piece of MUSTIQUE Island as a wedding gift. And she parlayed that because I thought, well, that's really cheeky. She parlayed that into her own Pleasure Island later in life, where she then, so it was a wedding gift, where she then had her boyfriend, while she was still married, Roddy Llewellyn, come, her live-in lover, and come, and they could do what they want on the island while she was still married. And so I thought, well, that's kind of cheeky as a wedding gift. I'm going to bring my lover over here now. So,
Yeah.
but while I was watching this, I was like, well, where is this Mystique Island that, you know, I was just curious. And when I found out it was in the Caribbean, my first reaction was feeling almost like, I don't know, pridefully defensive, if that makes sense, because my mom is Puerto Rican and my first book was set in Puerto Rico in the 1960s. And I did so much research. You know, your debut is like the one you like work on. For stuff. I mean, I worked on that thing for like 4 years, and it went to, it was my thesis in my MFA school. And I mean, I did so much research on it. And I thought, no, this isn't a real island, because I know all the real islands in the Caribbean. I was so like pompous inside without telling anyone. And then I went and Googled, and I tell you, the Google, that will teach you that the things that popped up, girl, I mean, it was, I couldn't even tell my mom there's this island. And when I Googled it, it was like, you know, it was almost as bad as Googling something that's like chocolate jelly roll, you know, where you're just like, no, I didn't mean that, you know. So don't do that, people. Trust me, don't Google that either. So, but that's what all these things popped up, that I was then thinking, I gotta erase my history, because these are so scandalous. And of course that scandal is interesting. Gossip.
Right.
So then I started researching, and the more I got into it, the more, the deeper I got. So then I got a memoir shipped to me from England that was written by Colin Tennant. And when I started reading that memoir, in it, there was like a little tiny paragraph about the different people that he sort of wooed to come and thought were beautiful and rich and scandalous enough to come and be residents and buy pieces of his land, because he was going bankrupt. So he bought it all with all the money, but then he didn't have the money or the business savvy to run an island that has people on it who need to be paid, and an industry on it, cotton, that needs to continue to do something. He just bought the island thinking he could make it a pleasure island for himself and his friends. And that's not how it works. So onto it.
Thought it was that would work that way too. I see where he's coming. I would have just bought it and been like, I don't know. I didn't really have to pay the people making the cotton.
I mean, my goodness. So
all my friends that are there.
So then, of course, you know, what's the next smart? Well, you know, the next thing you think is like, well, I better sell off pieces of this so I can keep playing, right? So, so that's what he started doing. He started selling off plots to make money and get people. He formed his own company called the MUSTIQUE Company, so that way his selling the plots would then be sanctioned. I don't even know what he thought, because he made up all the rules on the island because he owned the island. So onto it came a real life, my inspiration for Willie Mae, a real life ex-beauty queen, Texan, who was blackballed from the good English society. And so because of her divorce, and she built her own boat, and she had the money from her divorce, and she was beautiful. And he said, come over to our island, you're scandalous. And there was a line in the memoir that said something like, her Texas twang would be so charming to have around. Like he was
It's
so
like Dancing with the Stars, like
Yeah,
before
he was
Dancing
so
with the Stars, like they
condescending,
get
too.
all the people together that like have had scandal.
Yes.
Ahead of his time.
Yes.
They
So
built their own boat.
they
She built her own boat.
She sure did.
That's right. So this is where I got the idea, you know, that was sort of the inspiration. And then because this was a real person, and because her daughters are still, she's passed on, but her daughters are still alive, I changed all the names. And from that point forward, she built her own house. She didn't build it herself, of course. She had it built, called Firefly. real place. You can Google it. It turned into a hotel that then went under during the pandemic. But up until then, it was real. I was booked to go there and stay a week.
Oh,
Yeah.
that
I
would have been
Just like
amazing.
abandoned now? What is the story with it
Yeah.
now? Did someone else take it over or?
I don't know. All I know is that they closed it and they moved all their staff and the hotel industry, whatever they had going on, the
Yeah.
business there, over to another island. And they just said it's just closed. And so now,
We could buy it and renovate it, and we could do like writing retreats
oh
there.
my God, don't even get me started. I'm like, oh,
We'll bring him some scandal.
well.
Bunch of scandalous
The
authors.
way you say that, I love it. We'll bring over some.
Is the
scandal.
island still private though? I mean, how does
is.
it have a hotel on it then? What am I missing?
Privately owned? And a reader actually told me, she said, I looked up maybe a few days ago. She said, I looked up renting a villa because the Cotton House is still there, which is in the book. And that's the main estate that Colin and Anne, that was their home. And that they also turned into rentable rooms to make money because again, they were going bankrupt. So you can rent a villa. And she said the cheapest villa, this reader told me, the cheapest villa that she could find was $35,000 a week.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
Wow.
So,
okay.
That's kind of the.
I guess we're not buying Firefly.
No, we're not.
No,
Never mind.
I think it would be a lot. And I even have not jokingly, because I would seriously go, but I said, well, if we rented like one of these villas and then like they come with their own staff, their own chef, their own everything, and they're usually like 10 to 12 rooms. What if you rented them out to like readers and then we had like an event, but still 35,000, that's a lot.
Sarah, I'm going to jump in. Holly Phillips has a question for you.
Sure. Yes.
Let's just kind of, because she's saying an abandoned hotel on a scandalous island sounds like a solid book too. But then she's asking, where did you draw characteristics from for the ex-beauty queen?
So from the real life inspiration, I took pieces of, because then I Googled her. And so then I took little bits of this and that from her. And also I lived in Texas for 10 years. So I'm not going to say, and Willie Mae is in her 40s. I'm in my 40s. I lived in Texas for 10 years. So I did, no character is ever, unless it's based on like a real person, like Princess Margaret. That is what I culled together from researching and watching films on Princess Margaret. That's Princess Margaret as best I could do her. But fictional characters, they're always sort of a mix and mingle of a whole bunch of different things, then all processed through our own perspective and our own emotions as authors. And so she is me and not me, and nothing me and a little bit me, and she is the real inspiration. The photos I've seen of this real woman, the videos, I've only one video that I've seen of her. She is all the women though too that come from nothing and are scrappy and want to be something, and then once they get that something that they think that they needed and wanted to be someone, they realize it's not what they needed or wanted to be, really. That's sort of like, oh God, what did I just get myself into? And I wanted so bad and I reached for all my life, and now what? So she's a lot of different people, and I think she's very conflicted. And I think all women, especially during this time though, when the women's movement, that was important for me to put out there, that we, women and men, but as human beings, we need the flexibility to reinvent ourselves whenever we need to. That we need to not have sort of definitions put on our lives that because we said we wanted or were one thing at one point, that is what we're going to be and want when we're 20 years down the line, 30 years down the line, 50 years down the line. So that was important. And I also wrote this during and through the pandemic multiple times. And I think that absolutely influenced this character and her daughters and the thematic thrusts of this book, that you can be something like we all were at the start of the pandemic, and you can go through really awful, the worst things in the world, struggles, trials. Ugh.
Right.
And when you come out on the other side, you will never be what you were, but that doesn't mean you're worse. You can be better. You can choose to use that to forge through fire, that sort of axiom. You can be better, but it's a choice. And it's not an easy one, and it usually hurts a whole hell of a lot. So that is that's this journey of this book. And I think it's more hopeful too. I think it's more, the power is given back to us when we can't change what the world might throw at us. We can't change that there was a pandemic. We can't change that people we love died, but we can become empowered to say that is not going to make me a lesser person than I was before. And that's what these characters all do.
Right. It sounds fascinating. I want to switch gears a little bit because there was a really great article published, written by you in Newsweek recently. I lived in 10 towns across America, and this is where I finally settled down. Can you speak to us a little bit about that, and how has it shaped you as a writer, or shaped your stories?
The moving, the change.
Yeah.
I think I, growing up, didn't think it was at all a good thing to move so much and have so much change. And I think that's natural. I think most people want to have sort of like roots and a groundedness, and to feel like they know their territory. And I was always thrust into new territories. And I remember each time I moved, because I'm an introvert, like far side of the introvert scale. And I think the moving, each time I would move, I remember sitting down with myself kind of before I went and met people, and who are you going to be here? This is a choice. This is a choice you're making right now before you just got here. Your boxes are all right there. Who are you going to be here? Are you going to be shy and quiet and the mouse in the corner? Or are you going to try to meet people and be louder and talk and have your voice known? And that was a real struggle for me, because I would be like, I'd have to choose. I am going to speak. I am not going to be scared of this meeting, this across the street, one neighbor girl, just because I'm an introvert and I'm terrified. So,
Right.
I think that taught me how to be an extrovert. And that also, I think, taught me, I don't know, maybe character development. And I don't mean by like maybe some kind of my own, but I think also when I would say, who do you want to be here? It sounds crazy. I'm worried about if I'm giving too much.
I don't think it sounds crazy at all.
Psyche away. Yeah. But it would be like, I get to choose who I want to be new here. I get to reinvent myself here. And if I wanted to be a cheerleader in this place, then I'd be like, all right, I'm going to be peppy. And then we'd move and I'd be like, you know what? That was a little too much for me. I felt a little bit too exposed. So now I'm in this new place, and you know what? I really love books, and maybe I just want to be a little bit quiet and do more like just be a reader. And then I'd be like really quiet for those 2 years lived in that place. And so and then I'd learn something from that, and I would change again. And that sounds like a multiple personality, but no, but do you guys, I feel like,
my husband moved. I know, Lisa, you did too, but my husband moved a lot, and he likes to tell this story. He was out in California, and then he had to go to Rock Island, Illinois, which is near the Iowa border, for a year. And he was like a total dork in California, but he showed up and he was the California guy, an 8th grader, like 9th grade. And he got to be this totally other person there. like he got to be the Cal and he was instantly popular, and it was like this totally other person that and then he left after a year and had to go back to being the other person in California. But so I mean, as you were saying that, I was thinking about him because he moved a lot.
Yes, and I'm having this moment where I'm like, oh my God, yes, that's exactly it. I
Mhm.
totally relate to your husband and that memory he has and that experience he has. And I feel like that really shaped who I was, but at the same time that it was very freeing and allowed me to reinvent myself. It was also very confusing because at some point in my teens, I stopped and I remember feeling very depressed. I went through a really dark, depression time and it was mostly brought on because I was thinking to myself, who are you? You know, in your teens, you hit that very hormonal thing.
Mhm.
And I'm a swing. And I remember thinking, you've been all these different, but who are you really? Like sitting there, and I didn't know. And that was very terrifying to be like, I don't even know who I am or who I want to be. And I feel like that kind of bleeds into these characters in the book too, because I think that was really healthy. I think feeling like I should have known who I was and been who I was all along, that is probably more unhealthy than being scared and willing to be vulnerable and say, I don't know who I am, but I really want to figure that out. I really, really want to be authentic me. And so all the moving that definitely influenced that. And then it was sad that I had to move away from people and that I loved in certain places that I felt like really got me. And it was sad when I had to move. And I felt like I really liked who I was in that place. And I really wanted to continue to be that Sarah. And I would move and I would be scared that I would lose that Sarah somehow.
Yeah. I think speaking of losing, I think we lost Liz.
No, I was
but
like,
I think we're gonna gain Julie. She's gonna pop back in and so that we can check in on more questions.
Yes,
and
I love questions.
Okay,
And
I'm hoping that we have
she's
some more
saying her
questions from the
Wi-Fi
audience.
is frozen. It's fine, girl.
That's
It's
fine.
it's a little
Happens
crowded.
all the time. My dog.
Ouch.
No.
Just kidding.
Just
We love
kidding if you're
you.
watching us. So she can't even see us or hear us. So unless she goes
I-
back and watches us, we can say
Yeah.
whatever we want about
No,
Liz
this
right
is
now.
true. This is true.
Oh my God. This is like so if anybody has any questions, any more questions out there, I'd love the audience questions. So if you have anything, let us know.
Yes,
but
I didn't answer. Oh, there, I see. I saw one pop up.
Someone said your dog made an appearance.
I know. I was just about to say,
It was so cute.
eating something, and I could hear him, and I was thinking, oh Lord.
But we couldn't hear it.
I was like, if you eat it, just don't vomit it up behind me, because that will just be the end. So
if that happened,
that would actually be funny.
I was having this moment of like trying to hide.
Because you know what, your background looks too perfect, so a little dog puke would be fine.
Yeah, he's under there now. I think he's still eating something. Yeah, he is.
I can see him.
I know.
He is eating something.
We can put him on room. We can put you on Room Raider if you like.
I'll just hide him.
Your
So if you
room
vomit,
raider.
no one will know.
I love that. So, okay, this is one that I always love to ask, just because, and I always puts everybody on the spot. So you guys decide who's going to ask it, who's going to answer it first. What are you reading lately, or who do you want to lift up today in somebody? Because we're all going to buy Mystique Island. So what's the next book that we should read?
Thank you.
Ooh, looking at all my books.
Oh yes. I'm gonna reach over here real fast.
Go ahead.
Yeah, I'm
Okay. This is literally
Sarah go.
my pile next to me that are like, I'm reading, like I'm literally have either read them or they're my friends and I want them close. Does anyone else do that? Like keep your book friends? Like, I'm like, I read it,
totally.
but I'm gonna hold on to it. So Jane Green,
Oh yeah,
Mr. Stardust. This book
I've
is
got
like,
that one back here too.
where I'm gonna put it next to, yeah. These two are like,
Yeah.
Oh,
Great.
They look good
Because
together, too.
the time periods are kind of similar, aren't they?
yes.
Yeah.
And Jane and I have talked about how we were writing such similar time periods. Mick Jagger's in both of them. It was like our creative spirits were linked and we didn't even know it till the books were already published.
Right.
And then we were like, what the heck?
What the
And
heck?
we were
So Sharon's
such
on
good
saying
friends.
Sharon said her Sister Stardust is her favorite book she's read this year until you read
Oh,
Mystic Island.
wow.
And then you
Yeah.
are ready to launch into this.
There you
really,
go.
I mean, it's just like a continuation. Can I do two
Oh,
more? real
keep
quick?
going. Keep
You
going.
can
Yeah.
go for
This one, right?
Oh yeah.
This
Oh
is
yeah.
Yeah.
right? And she is just so wonderful. And
Yeah.
I told her, she just brings historical fiction to like this like mighty
I'm gonna
sort of,
grab
like,
mine off the table.
boom.
Yeah,
Right
she does.
That
She
world
is,
level.
and she's so smart. We've hosted her a number of
She's
times, and
so
she's just
smart.
so smart. And it's just like, but she writes in a way that just grabs everybody by the throat and just like, let's go.
So good.
You're
So
coming
good.
with me.
That one, and then one more while
Yep.
we're waiting.
It's
So
kind of
this
my
one is
bedside
coming
table,
out
so keep
soon.
going.
Ready? You jealous people. Emily, it's
You got a
so
galley.
Oh, that's pretty good.
so good, and she is so loving, wonderful, and I just,
There
I
you
mean,
go.
honestly,
That's
this-
pretty
When
good.
is that? Is that one September or is that August?
no, that one is the end of this month. It's the 31st of May.
Oh, it's May.
It's
Wow. Okay. I didn't know that.
I'm
Okay.
jealous
Lovely
of that
sort
one.
Summer
Yeah.
watery. I love it. It's
Oh.
so good. And
All
All right.
right.
What do you got?
I just
Lisa?
ran to my bedside table, but
Okay.
this is what I'm reading right now.
Oh,
and
he's so
it's-
good.
Oh, I love him. It's so good. It comes out July 12th.
Okay.
Really good. Then I just went and bought this one because I really loved the first one. And then
Right.
this is the prequel to that. Did you read that one?
No, I
The
haven't read that.
Liars. Oh, it's so good. It has this crazy twist at the end.
Is it a
Um,
YA though? Or no?
Yeah, yeah.
Okay, it is YA.
But
okay.
my
But it
my
doesn't read
husband
like it,
read
right?
it.
Oh, look at
I
the
read
dog.
it. My teenage daughter read it, but not this one, but the one before it. And so
Yeah.
this is not, but this is technically before it because it's a prequel. It's hard to explain, but
Yeah.
well, I'm excited about this. And then this one I've been
Oh.
trying to get to and trying to get to. I'm so
yes.
excited about.
My daughter loved that.
I love all her
Oh,
books. So
There we go. There's our
Yeah.
Jilly. Those are
Jilly.
good, Lisa. Jilly.
yeah, and Liz, I'll just for Liz, even though she's gone, she had just read this one and said it was amazing, and we did it as our book club, so she loved it. So now I'm going to read it too.
Yeah, that
So-
one I've heard the really good things about too. The violin.
Yeah.
Okay, so
Yeah.
we're getting ready to wrap up. We're almost out of time. So my last
Okay.
question for both of you, and we're going to go away from books because this is a beach party, and we're supposed to be like thinking that we're on a beach somewhere, Mustique Island. So I'll go to Sarah first. What are your plans for the summer? Anything fun, exciting that you're going to do?
I really, I really need a beach. Like I really need a beach. And I've been on this sort of beach for the past
Mhm.
4 years while writing it. And it's just made me crave to actually be on a beach somewhere, tropical. I've been talking to my family and I would love to go to Puerto Rico because I think part of that beach, I'm an island girl, and part of that and researching and writing this is that it's made me really want to connect deeper with my own people, if that
Right.
makes sense, like
Yeah.
my own like island people in the Caribbean, and I don't know, just be amongst them. So I really would like to go there. Isn't planned right now. My husband and I just I went and met him over there in Paris. So I feel like I almost like I played my summer card a little early.
Well, that's my summer plan. I'm going to. We're
Are you?
taking Matt and I are taking our 11-year-old to Paris. So it's
I will
like
give
we're going to
you-
be there for 2 weeks, and yeah, I'm going to get the things because I haven't
all
been.
the things and
I
all
haven't
the
been in.
feels.
I haven't been in 9 years.
Wow.
So
It is a different
pretty-
city. It
yeah.
is like everyone is so joy of life. I have never, and I've been a few times before, and everyone is so warm and welcoming, and they love Americans, and they're just like everyone is just
Yay.
dancing in the streets every second. You are going to have.
Yeah.
I cannot.
Oh, how
Excited.
exciting. Lisa, so you're saying 2 weeks. Are you doing any like side trips, driving?
Yeah, we're
Or
gonna
you
we're gonna go over to London and then we're gonna do a bunch of like side trips, like
like car,
Palace
just
of
like drive.
Versailles
Yeah.
and Normandy and like things like that. But
Yeah.
so we're still in the process of planning. We
Yeah.
have like our hotel and
Your
our
home
flights,
base.
obviously.
Yeah,
And
your home
yeah,
base.
but then I'm very linear, so I'm starting the beginning. I booked us to have lunch in the Eiffel Tower. And so that's all I've done so far because that's day one. So I got 14 of them.
Got 14 days to
So
plan.
Sarah, I'm gonna get some recommendations from you.
But
I
that's
have
the best thing is
all
that
sorts.
when you have that when you have that amount
Yeah.
of time, that's so great instead of like going, oh, we're only there for like 3 days or whatever. So,
Right.
I'm
Sarah,
gonna
what's
send
your-
a
what's your
video
top
from the Eiffel
recommendation?
Tower
What's your
just
top-
to like get you all excited.
You're
So,
gonna what?
I'm gonna send you a video from the Eiffel Tower
Woo!
just to keep you excited.
Do
Because
it.
it is gorgeous.
What's your top
But-
recommendation for her? Do you have one off the
Ooh,
top of your head?
You in Paris,
Yeah.
honestly, just go and like ramble into some beautiful
Right.
cafe.
That's how I
right?
like to do it too.
And just sit down and be like, oh, I like this menu, and sit down at it.
I
right
love
in
that.
front, and like maybe there's a bunch of cafes around the Arc de Triomphe, and
Mhm.
there are all these street performers, and just sit and have
Yeah.
like most leisurely, like no stress, no plans, and
Yeah. That's my favorite way to go too. Like plan a few things, but then just sort of randomly,
that's what it
happen
is.
upon. Yeah.
Oh,
Yeah.
well, excellent set
Yay.
of plans, everybody. Okay. Sarah, it was lovely to meet you. Come
It was
back
so
again.
wonderful.
Yeah.
So wonderful. Thank you for having me.
Absolutely.
This was pure joy. I loved every second.
Love
And
it.
I hope one day, very soon, I get to
Mhm.
come out to the West Coast and actually see you
Yes.
and meet you in person and do an event with
I love
That would
that.
lots of
be
readers.
amazing.
Lots of readers. And Lisa, it was so good seeing you. It's been too long.
I know.
I
We have
know.
to try to get some. We're so bad.
We tried. We tried to
We
do it.
really tried. We
But it
gotta
was
try
like,
harder.
we tried to get together and it was like no March, no April, no May.
Oh, we just
It's like-
can't. We're gonna have to try again.
I know. All right. Tell
But
Liz.
we
love
saw
you.
each other
Love
now.
you
So
all.
okay,
Thank
bye
you so much for
everybody.
this. Have a good
Bye, everybody.
night.
Bye.
Bye.